So the sign of Jonah is Jonah. The sign of Jonah is Jonah. Now we've got to go back to Luke. So Jesus said, this generation is a wicked generation. It seeks for a sign, and yet no sign will be given to it but the sign of Jonah. For just as Jonah became a sign to the Ninevites, so the Son of Man will be to this generation. So what's Jesus' point? Jesus says that he's going to be like Jonah. And Jonah himself was a sign. How does Jesus himself become the sign? Dead and raised. But look at what he says. So will the Son of Man be. He didn't say, so I will be. He says, so the Son of Man be. Now, Son of Man is something very specific in the Bible. So we have to look at that. Now we've got to go back to the book of Daniel, where it talks about the Son of Man. So Daniel said, I kept looking into these night visions. He's got all these strange visions and everything. And behold, with the clouds of heaven, one like the Son of Man was coming, and he came up to the Ancient of Days and was presented before him. So here's the Son of Man reference in the book of Daniel. Now my son Joshua taught a 20-week class on the book of Daniel, and I didn't get it. I mean, he went deep. I just didn't understand it. But there's one thing that I remember. This is the only thing I remember from his 20 weeks of Daniel. There's a man in heaven. There's a man in heaven. That can't happen. You can't have a man in heaven. Remember what is said in Corinthians? Now I say this, brethren, flesh and blood cannot enter the kingdom of heaven, nor does the perishable inherit the imperishable heaven. Men can't go to heaven. Isn't that what we said our problem was, that the Bible was going to solve from the very beginning? Do you remember our definition of the Bible? It's the true story of how a holy God can dwell with an unholy people. There's a man in heaven. This is a clue as to how a man can dwell with God. So he quotes that, and he doesn't say, I'm going to be your judge, I'm going to be Jonah. He said, so the Son of Man. He calls himself and identifies himself with this Son of Man who went into heaven, came up before the Ancient of Days, and was presented before him. So here we have a reference to the resurrection, the ascension of Jesus before God Almighty, who went up according to Hebrews and presented his blood before God. So now, a man is presented before God. He can't be there. Everybody knows that a man can't be before God in heaven. And so that's what we said our Bible is about. Our Bible is trying to solve this mystery, this problem of how an unholy people can dwell with a holy God. Somehow a man got into heaven right up to God and was presented before him. Now we don't have God coming to earth. We have a man going to heaven. Everything's getting backwards. So here's what happens. Daniel continues. And to him was given dominion. What was Adam given in the first chapter, in 26th and the 28th verse? He was given dominion over the earth. But he failed, didn't he? The second Adam's not going to fail. I mean, the last Adam's not going to fail. The last Adam is going to do what the first Adam failed to do. He's going to take that dominion that God gave him, and he's going to keep it. So, to him was given the dominion that was lost by Adam from the very beginning. And glory and a kingdom. He's going to have his own kingdom. He's going to have his own glory. That all the peoples, nations, and men of every language, where did the languages come from? From Babel. The languages came from Babel. And right after the languages came from Babel and all the nations were scattered, what was the promise to Abraham? I will make of you a great nation, and all the nations of the earth will be blessed. So now all the nations are going to be drawn back in from every man of every language. The curse of the Tower of Babel will be over because of the promise of Abraham in this Son of Man. They were divided by language. They will be brought back together by language so that they might serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which will not pass away. And his kingdom is one which will not be destroyed. So, I want to move one more time to look at Jesus on trial. So we're going to go to Mark now. And this is concerning the same thing, the Son of Man. So Jesus is on trial. He's at the end of his life. He's going to die in a matter of hours. And again the high priest was questioning and saying to him, are you the Christ, the Son of the Blessed One? And Jesus says, I am, claims to be God. And you shall see the Son of Man, there's our Son of Man, sitting at the right hand of power and coming with the clouds of heaven. A lot of times we take that passage of Scripture and we think of it as being the second coming of Jesus. We think of it as his return. But according to Daniel, this isn't his second coming. This is his resurrection and ascension to the throne. So Daniel is telling us that Jesus is going to go to heaven, to the throne, to present before God to get his kingdom. That's where he sits on the throne. That's the goal of the entire Bible. If anybody asks you, what's the goal of all the universe, of all of history, of all the Bible, is to get Jesus on that throne. That's the goal of everything. And it happens right here. And so it's not talking about the second coming of Christ, that we're going to see him come back with the clouds. It's talking about his death and resurrection. It said, you're going to see this, the Son of Man. You're going to see this, and he's going to go and present. And tearing his clothes, and the high priest said, but further do we have a witness? What further need do we have of witnesses? You have heard this blasphemy. How does it seem to you? Jesus said, I'm going to heaven. I'm the Son of Man that Daniel talked about. I'm going up to that class. I am the great I am. So there's his powerful statement. And that's what brought him to death. You know what? People say, well, why did you kill Jesus? Bill O'Reilly said they killed him. It was a financial thing. They killed him because he claimed to be the one that was going to take the throne in heaven and be their king and their judge. You sit here judging me, Jesus says, you're going to see me ascend to heaven, I'm going to be your judge. And they couldn't have that. Notice the Son of Man coming on the clouds. Always remember that Daniel's talking about not coming to earth, but coming to God. He's looking at the vision that way. He's going to come from the clouds. He's going to come from earth through the clouds to God. That's the point that's being made here. So, the sign of Jonah is like the sign of Jesus. Jonah's resurrection from 3 days in the fist, Jesus' resurrection from 3 days in the tomb. That's the sign that they're going to get. What is the only sign that this wicked generation is going to get according to Jesus? Sign of his resurrection. Jesus' resurrection from the dead is the only sign that they're going to get. Now, let's take this a step further.